Hello and welcome. I do apologize. I am running pretty late today, so I do apologize for those of you who have been messaging me wondering where I am. Oops, I'm so sorry. And now I'm kicking the tripod. So it is going to be one of those. No, it's not. I can't let myself think that. But good morning and welcome again. Let me introduce myself to those of you who are new to me. My name is Evelyn Knight. I am the child care business coach, the host of the podcast, and the founder and CEO of Child Care Business Professionals, which is a company that helps owners and directors find success while maintaining high quality standards for the children. I'm also a child care center owner myself. And again, I have to apologize. I'm running so very late today. It has been quite the morning. If you guys have listened to my previous stuff, I'm going to start you guys with just something I tell myself all the time because I've had a morning already. As you can see, I'm already 17 minutes late getting on my call. I've had several people. I have like 8 messages from people like, did I miss you? Did I miss you? Like, no, you didn't miss me. I'm just having a morning. And everything, technical difficulties from my computer, then trying to set up my phone. I don't use my phone so much anymore. And now I'm talking to you guys through my phone. So I had wardrobe malfunction, had to change my dress I was wearing. It's just been my hair, everything, right? One of those days. So I really am careful with how I speak to myself in situations like this. And one of the things, like, my brain automatically wants to go to, oh my gosh, it's going to be a day. It's going to be a day. I couldn't sleep this morning, woke up an hour earlier than I normally like to. I do have narcolepsy, so I have to be really careful with waking up early. Tonight is my husband's dialysis, so I won't be home until about 1 o'clock in the morning, right? Breathe. Yes, you know what? After I tell you guys this, I'll show you a breathing treatment I do for myself, just a breathing exercise. But I just have to tell myself every time, I cannot let my entire day be defined by an hour or 2 hours, right? So yes, the last 3 hours have been kind of chaotic. I did have a really good. Every morning I go for a walk in the desert. It's more like a hike. I have to wear hiking boots to do what I do. And I did run into a rattlesnake a couple times, so it's sort of like a hike. But I do it every morning just to kind of clear my head, and it is just so nice. But it has been a chaotic morning. I've already gotten calls from my child care center that one of our vans is broken down. You know, of course, it's just one thing after another some days. But I have to tell myself that I cannot let these first 3 hours of my day dictate the next, well, I'm going to be awake now probably about 17 hours, right? So I cannot let 2, 3, 4, or even 5 hours dictate 17 hours worth of a day, right? So even though first half of my day, or first, I should say, like, quarter of my day has been a little chaotic and it's been one thing after another already, I cannot allow myself to think, oh boy, it's going to be a day. I mean, those thoughts do creep into my head. And as soon as they do, I tell myself, no, not going to happen. It's going to be a wonderful, beautiful day. Everything is going to go as planned. The morning might have had some hiccups, but I cannot define my entire day by my morning, right? So just food for thought, you guys. So when those thoughts, you know, and it is Monday, my mind could automatically go to, oh my gosh, is this the kind of week I'm going to have? No, it's not. I won't allow it. I won't allow it, right? It is what we allow. So let me just start off by saying that. The other thing too is, as I was in my morning hike, I was really thinking, and usually before I do these Monday morning calls for you guys, or these live presentations, I always like to really go through and I make notes, and I come up with, you know, I kind of research the subject matter. I know what I want to talk about. I just looking at what you guys, the emails from the week before that I get, messages, just seeing current, like, it's almost like we have these waves of feelings that go through us, right? In early childhood education, and so much of us experience the same things at the same time. So I usually really prepare. But every now and then, a morning will come where I just decide, this is not what I'm supposed to talk about today. And lately that's been happening more so than normal. And today is one of those days where, as I was out in the desert going over, okay, today we're talking about, and I was going to talk about imposter syndrome, which is very important, so I will get to it. And I might throw a little bit in on it today, but I decided I need to talk about something else today. And I really want to focus and help people who are really, really struggling right now. In fact, I am starting a second podcast to help caregivers. And it isn't going to be ECE related. I mean, if you're in the ECE world and you can relate to what I'm going through, it is related. But it is just one more thing just to help. And I don't know if you guys can see, my dog is here with me this morning. But it is just one more thing. It's something different. That's really what I'm going through in my current life, and something I'm just feeling called to help people with. And just the podcast, I'm not going to be coaching on it or anything, just helping people through what I've been through. So I do want to relate that to the ECE world because it is relatable to every industry, everywhere, and everyone. And I want to talk a little bit about what I'm going through and how I'm handling it. And I had a conversation, actually this morning, somebody reached out to me. It wasn't actually ECE, it's actually part of my coaching company, the coach that I pay for. And she really made me think. And I just said, you know what, I do need to talk to you guys about this too, because we all go through really tough times in life, right? For those of you who are newer to me, again, my husband is terminally ill, and it can be really hard sometimes to just keep going, especially right now. Wednesday of last week, we had something happen that really just shook me pretty hard. It shook my entire family, and it made us realize that we're really nearing the end of this journey. And so I had to sit back and really think last week. I really had to think, what am I going to do? What am I going to do when this happens? How do you move forward, right? Life doesn't stop. The bills keep coming. My kids still need to eat. And things still keep happening when even after this happens, right? Life does go on. And I know it, and it's hard to think about. I have to say, it's interesting what I've been going through, because I start thinking, like, do I cancel this? Do I cancel that? Can I keep moving forward? I taught a seminar on Thursday, and I had to really wonder, am I going to do this? Am I going to teach this? Just the day before, my husband was in and out of the hospital, and we didn't know if he was going to make it. And he did make a pretty good recovery, but the doctors did tell us this is the end. And my husband is being transferred on hospice care right now. So I did have to really step back and just ask myself, okay, how much can I do, right? And so that's something I really want you guys to think about. And you guys may not be dealing with a terminally ill husband. You may not be dealing with something that huge, but you're still dealing with some stuff. I can tell you, when I told you guys the story before. If you haven't heard it, I can refer just message me and I'll find the videos and podcast links. But when I got diagnosed with narcolepsy, it was very hard on me, very hard. My background's in neuropsychology. I've got degrees. And so I was convinced before I got my diagnosis that the doctor was going to say, no, you're not sick, you're okay. And the day, I will never forget it, I was in that hospital room, or the doctor's room, and he came in with the results. I was alone, and I just will never forget him telling me that I am inconclusively positive for narcolepsy. Just the data is just so black and white. I do have this neurological disease, and I knew what that meant for me. As somebody who's got degrees and understands how the brain works, I knew exactly what that meant, that I had to say goodbye to my old life, my old brain, and welcome this new one. And I shut down for a long time. I literally just let this depression overcome me that was so overwhelming. And I actually, if you guys know what agoraphobia is, it got so bad that I had to battle agoraphobia for a while. But it almost, because I shut down, I almost lost everything. At that time, my family almost lost everything. We almost went bankrupt. We almost lost everything because I just didn't do anything. And so this time, I know I have a second chance to a certain extent. I'm facing another debilitating life event, and we all do, right? We all do. We all face several debilitating life events. But this time, I realize, here I am again. But how am I going to make it through this? I get to choose. And I want you guys to really hear that. when I had narcolepsy, when I was first diagnosed with this disease, and there's more than just the narcolepsy, that year, that was when my husband really started getting sick. It's been a long time. We've been on this journey of my husband's illness now. It's been a long time, you guys. I think this all started in 2011. So 10 years, and it's all just coming to a head now. But he was also, we found out he was also really sick at the time. And so him and I both knew, oh my gosh, our life is changing. We're both sick now suddenly, right? We both, and I can't really say that I'm sick. It's just having a neurological disease is a little bit different. I know how to manage it so much better now. But my husband's illness was a very much more definitive, wow, puts a timeline on your life type of an illness. So it was really hard, right? And I know now that I'm facing this crossroads and I get to choose. I got to choose then, and I chose wrong. The first time I chose wrong, and because I chose wrong, I almost lost everything. Let's see, Shailin, you say you won't be able to, but God can. Yes, my 19-year-old son, 18 months ago, grief was weird. Yes, it'll make you feel weird, but choose to go through it. Choose to lean in. Yeah, no, and I cannot agree with you more. I cannot agree with you more that you cannot avoid it. You have to lean into it. You have to feel all the feelings. That being said, you can't let it control you either, right? I'm at a point right now where it's really hard going through these motions. Like, well, yesterday, Father's Day, sitting there through Father's Day knowing this is probably going to be our last Father's Day, more than likely going to be. I can let that overwhelm me. I can let that consume me. I can let that turn me into just, I can let it eat me alive, right? And become really depressed. And nobody would fault me for that. Everybody would just be like, oh my gosh, you need a break. Take your break. Do what you need to do. Whatever, right? Nobody would fault me for pulling back and saying, I need time. I can't do this. And everyone's just like, oh, that poor woman, right? She needs this. And I understand that. But if I do, I have to weigh those consequences, right? Last time I made the wrong decision and I allowed the feelings to control my life. I really did. And not only did I allow the feelings, but I let the depression overwhelm me. I let it consume me. And there's no other way to say it, but I allowed the depression into my life, and I allowed the depression to take me over. And this time I realized I have a choice. I can't do that again. I can't do it again this time. I almost lost everything then. I'm not going to do that now. And so last week I came to a decision, and I've been toying with this. I can't just say it was sudden, but I just decided that I need to be proactive and I need to come up with a plan. And Zuin, my preschool, you guys, that's already set up. I've already done that for Zuin. Zuin is fine without me. I know I could disappear for 6 months. I could honestly just leave tomorrow and it would be fine, right? My staff is so amazing. I mean, there's certain things they're going to have me for, yes, but I know that during this time I can go away for the next 8 to 12 weeks and they're going to be fine. I can go grieve, do what I need to do. They're going to be fine, right? So that's something you guys really need to think about. You don't know. Like Shailene said, losing her 19-year-old son. You don't know you're going to lose your 19-year-old son. I mean, I have known my husband was sick, right? Now, it's been about 2 years that we've known that he was to the point where, okay, this is close to the end. But it's taken 2 years. That is a long time. You guys have no idea how long it is to watch someone just... I can't even, I'll lose it if I start talking about it, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but it's a long time to watch somebody really suffer. And so now as we're getting really close to the end, it is, you kind of mentally prepare, but you can't. There's no preparing for it. Just like if you've ever had a child that went off to college, when my son went off to college, that first year, and I'll tell you, up until now, that was the hardest thing I'd ever gone through, right? I was really trying to prepare. I kept telling myself, but when you drop them off and you drive away, there's nothing that prepares you for that. There's certain things in life that you can prepare for all you want, but there is no preparing, right? But you can make it easy on yourself so that you can grieve, so that when it comes time to feel those feelings, you're not trying to juggle life and grief and everything that comes with it, right? You're not trying to hold it all together because you still need to get payroll out, right? When you're hurting and your family needs you to hurt with them, you gotta keep going, right? I need to be able to separate myself so that my staff will be fine, my payroll will be fine, everybody will be okay, and I can go grieve and be with my family, right? I'm going to need that separation for a little while. And I need to be able to give myself that time to grieve. I need to feel. I need to be able to go through that. So we are coming up with a strategic plan right now. And I probably will pass it on to you guys. I definitely will. But I reached out to my business advisors, and we had a big business meeting last week. I basically called everybody, my administrative assistant, my director, my marketing team, my business advisor, and I use everybody the same for both companies. So I just basically said, look, on Friday I did this meeting. Wednesday things got really bad, and we realized that honestly my husband could go any day. It could be 2 months from now, but it could also be tomorrow. We don't know. It is very close though. And so I told them I need a plan. I got to know what I'm going to do. I've got to know, because if I need to disappear with my kids, I need to be able to disappear with my kids. So we're putting a strategic plan together, and as it's completed, it is going to be a documented plan so that all the pieces of the puzzle are laid out. Zoom, like I said, you guys, my preschool's already fine. I know they're good, but I am documenting it, and I am having checks and balance systems. I don't want one person in charge of anything. I want there to be backup plans for everything. When I first got narcolepsy, I'll be totally transparent with you guys. I completely checked out, and I thought that things were okay. I had an accountant / bookkeeper who was there helping me, and she was going into my childcare center every Wednesday, doing the books, getting everything done. She would report to me, and she was like, yeah, it was a rough week, but we're okay, and she knew what I was going through, and so I was on the phone with her. I didn't leave my house. If you guys know what agoraphobia is, I wasn't leaving my house. That's the fear to leave. Basically, it's the fear of open spaces is the way it's defined, but what it is it's like I would have a panic attack if I left my front door. So, and I mean, they're debilitating, like on the floor, hyperventilating, panic attack if I left my front door. So, I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't doing anything. She would call me on the phone and check in with me, but I didn't realize what was really happening. I was avoiding phone calls, wasn't looking at my mail, wasn't doing the things I was supposed to do. So one day I had an IRS agent knock on my front door and literally came to my house. And it turned out that person that I was relying on was not paying any of my taxes. None of them. No payroll taxes. Nothing. It was a huge problem. It took me years to dig my way out of it. And that's where I realized today, I can't let that happen again. I don't care how big the problem is, you guys. Whatever we face in life, right? We face these huge mountains, right? There is an end in sight, and eventually you are going to get to the other side. So we have to really ask ourselves sometimes, what do you want life to look like when you do get to the other side of this, right? I know one of you guys who follow me and listen to my podcast and whatnot was in a really bad car accident a few months ago. And the recovery has been really tough. So that is another thing. You don't know it's coming. You've got to be prepared. And sometimes the people that you rely on, they're they're trying to take care of you. So they're not being like totally honest with you, I should say, right? So like I know at the time, my bookkeeper, it's complicated. I mean, there was a lot more I'm not going to get into right now but I think sometimes that she just knew I was hurting and was afraid to tell me the truth. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, my puppy. But it was a really tough time. And so I've come to realize that you don't want to leave one person in charge of anything. You need a check and balance system, right? Even for myself, I have a check and balance system. I am the owner of my company, and I still have people coming behind me and checking to make sure I'm doing everything correctly, which is why I have this team I talked to you guys about, which is why I gathered the team and basically told them, okay, you guys, I need a plan so I can step out, right? In case when the time comes, I can be with my family. I don't know how long I'm going to need. Again, like I said, I've been going through this for a couple of years. We've known this is coming. So I don't know. I might need 4 weeks. I might need 6 weeks. I might need 8 weeks, but I need a plan. And so we are coming up with a plan, and I will put it together in a template for my clients so that you guys have it, and so you guys know that you have an action plan. So when life hits, there are people who know and things you can put into action so that you can give yourself that time to feel, that time to grieve, and that time just to be where you need to be. If you've watched my previous stuff, I've told you guys before, one of the things I do no matter what I'm going through in life now, after what I've been through, what I do now is I give myself an expiration date. I basically tell myself, like, and it depends on what it is. I'm going to use something smaller, for example. Like, I have a staff member that I really love that quits, right? I will tell myself, you can have the day to grieve, right? She's gone. Today's the day. Go feel everything. Go do what you need to do. Go cry, go scream, be angry, be sad, whatever you need. Feel those feelings. But you have to put an end time to it. You have to tell yourself, okay, now I need to move on, right? And even facing something as big as what I'm facing with my husband, I still have to put that on myself where, okay, yes, it's going to be a lot bigger. I'm going to need probably, I don't know, like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to need 4 weeks, if I'm going to need 12 weeks, but I still have to put an expiration date because life keeps going, right? No matter what we're going through, life isn't going to stop. The bills are going to keep coming. My kids still need to live. I'm going to still need to live. After everything is said and done, I'm going to need to go on. And so no matter what, I'm going to need to come back, and I'm going to want businesses to come back to. When you allow that depression to just take over like I've done in the past, it's like waking up from a nightmare, right? You do come out of it eventually. And when you do, you have to ask yourself, how do you want life to look? How do you want your life to be? And I can tell you, the last time I went through something major in my life, I woke up to a disaster. It was like waking up into a nightmare, right? It was definitely like that depression I was in just put me into this sleep. And when I woke up out of it, I turned my life into a nightmare. And I have to take accountability for that. Nobody did that but me. And this time, I'm not going to let that happen again. So I do want to help more of you out there in that you don't get stuck when life comes at you, because it just keeps coming and coming. No matter what you got. I've been through so much. I can't even tell you, like, just the things I've already told you aren't even the half of what, I mean, it's 1 year alone, you guys. I had just 1 year. It was the same year I was diagnosed with narcolepsy. My husband was in the hospital for over a month, and that year I had 2 different doctors actually approach me and ask me if my affairs were in order, right? My nephew was actually diagnosed with a really rare form of cancer that is so rare that it doesn't even have a name in the United States. It wasn't even labeled and considered a cancer in the United States, and he had to be flown. It was insane. He actually broke his neck. That year I also had one of my staff members who had just left about a week before was murdered. I had a banking issue that sent everything in my bank account returned, and it was horrible. Like, just, I had, I think, 32 checks sent back, including all payroll, an entire payroll. It was an awful, I didn't think I was going to make it that year. And I've told you guys the story. I had an eviction notice on my door at my center. Everything was just spiraling out of control. So that's where now I realize I'm facing another one of those crossroads, and I need to choose, how am I going to go through this? What path am I going to take? And I'm not going to allow myself to wake up to the same nightmare I did last time. And I see Alana is on. Alana went through my last, she was with me through all of that. She actually stuck with me. It's amazing. But she was with me last time. I went through a huge valley like the one I'm facing now. But I do need to decide, right? And I can. I have that power. I need to decide, how am I going to emerge from this? And I'm going to put things in place to make sure that we emerge okay, so that when I'm on the other side of this and when I'm ready to come back to the real world, that everything will still be there for me. So that is, and I know, Shailene, you had talked earlier about God getting us, and absolutely, I cannot tell you guys enough that, I am 100% a God girl, and people always say that saying, just one of my pet peeves is the saying, God won't give you more than you can handle. God gives us more than we can handle all the time. Alana has followed my life, and she could tell you guys, I get up more than I can handle all the time. I think the difference is that it's not that God doesn't give us more than we can handle. It's that He wants to handle it with us. He wants to go through it with us, and He wants to handle it for us, right? So when you truly learn how to let Him take the wheel and just give it to Him, that's the key. He gives us more than we can handle all the time, right? My life is I can attest to that firsthand. But it's when we let Him take it, that's where the magic happens. It's not that He never says that He's not going to give you more. He's saying, let me take your burdens, right? That's what He says. And that's how sorry guys, promise I wouldn't do this. But when I think about what my family is going through now, how we're going to handle it, how am I going to get my boys through this? How am I going to get it through this? That's how I know I'm not, right? I just have to lean in at this point, and I have to lean in to the people who are in my life, like Alana, and I have to lean in. And that's the other thing, you guys, I really want to tell you. Alana can tell you guys, I am a horrible person for when it comes to asking for help. I don't know how to ask for help, and I'm horrible about it. Alana knows firsthand. Last year, when my husband was in the hospital with his third stroke, I had a flat tire in the parking garage at the hospital, and oh my gosh, it just, I don't know how I can't even remember what I did, but it took so much of me just to ask for help, so much. And even Alana had gotten a little upset with me at the time. She's like, why didn't you guys just call? Or why didn't you just call? We could have come and helped you. It takes a lot for me, and I've had, I don't know, sometimes I think that's why God's put me through all the things He's put me through, so He could teach me how to humble myself enough to ask. So I've learned, and now it's what I'm doing. I'm asking a lot of people. I mean, this plan that we're coming up with my business advisors is basically a plan on me saying, okay guys, I'm gonna need a lot of help right now, so here's what I need from you. And so if you guys are in this situation, reach out for help, you guys. Lean in to the help that is there for you. I know a lot of my clients, you guys, God brings you to me. I know, like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, so many of you, when I hear your stories and we really start talking, it's like, oh wow, we were put together for a reason. God led me to your life for a reason. And I'm just so thankful that God uses me in that way to this day. Like, just, He's used me for so many of you guys. And I know a lot of the things I've been through now, He's put me through and allowed me through. Well, He hasn't put me through it, but He's allowed my life to go through it so that I could bring it back to you guys and help you get through a lot of life storms. And just why I'm starting that other podcast on caregiving, since I know it's hard to be your husband's caregiver, and I can help a lot of people out there. So lean into the help, you guys. Look for the people around you who are there to help you, and do what you need to do, but don't let your pride get in the way, because when push comes to shove, like I said, life starts back up again, and you want to be able to direct the way your life is going to go when it starts back up again, and not wake up into a disaster. We do have that choice. So reach out to me if you guys have any questions, if you guys need any help. It's part of what my membership does for my members. And for if you're thinking about becoming my member, don't worry, I have a strong team that's coming in. We have a plan I've been pre-recording a ton of training for you guys, and I have a lot of people who will be stepping into my place so that you guys won't be abandoned when I do need to step away. But again, like I said, I don't know when it's going to be. It could be a couple months from now. It could be tomorrow. The doctors basically have told me it could be any day, but it can also be a couple months. So I'm preparing now, and I am going to help many of you guys, I'm sure, prepare for the same kind of life situation and just these huge events in life that take us away. I'm hoping to really help more owners and directors come up with a plan. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day, and I hope that you guys really go back to the beginning of this video and remember that we cannot let just a couple hours, we can't let a season of our life predict what it really is, right? It's a couple hours does not predict an entire day. A couple months doesn't predict a year. A couple of years doesn't predict a lifetime, right? We have to just decide. We do have that choice. So I hope you guys all have a beautiful rest of your week.